Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another reaction. Today we have To Our Colorful Scintillating Future, which is a beautiful name to start with, and this is by Steampianist. I'm not sure about that name. I feel like I've seen it around before, but I was given no context by Lutris and my executive producers, who's the one that requested this. So that usually means either I don't need any context or they don't include anything in order to catch me off guard. Sometimes it's just like a lie of omission at that point, but that's just getting into the weeds of like how the relationship I have with Patreon members are. Either way, we have to listen to this, so without further ado, let's go! Okay. Lyrics by Momocashew. Wait a second. Oh no. Oh no. Not Cassie. Oh no.
Wake up, sleepyhead, brushing our teeth with neon leaves.
This is gonna go somewhere dark. Cassie Way has never done anything cute without a dark undertone.
1, 2, 3, remake the fire, as big a flame as we desire. Roasted dandelion coffee, don't worry, it's caffeine free. But when night came, so did the nightmares whispering.
We have to pay attention to the lyrics for this now. I know better.
Broken dreams. As I shook, you held me in your warm embrace, and all my fears, they all went away. Comforting words assuring me that everything will be okay. Under
Sure it will be. It's very bouncy, it's very fun, but I know better. I know who this I know who this lyricist is. I know about her habits. Okay, we have this like dystopian sort of torn apart world too. But it's so bouncy and fun and light and cute. If I didn't know better.
Get up, it's 1 o'clock. You have been sleeping a lot lately. Time to pack our bags into our daily routine. Count 1, 2, 3, tiny mushrooms picked.
Sleeping a lot lately, huh?
Suddenly I felt the trees staring right back at me. From that day on you slept even more than before. I can't imagine being without you ever.
She's gonna turn into a fucking tree, isn't she? I'm calling it now. That's a tree girlfriend right there. Doesn't mean I can't bounce and have fun. That tree's getting larger and it's moving a little bit.
Silent, you stood at the doorway, your body shaking. You tried to say something, your tongue has fallen. You tried to look at me, your eyeballs swollen. Your skin peeling off, turning raw.
That's a fucking tree.
Your arms and your legs and your torso stretched out. The scabs on your face spreading to your body. A grim realization is breaking my mind and piercing my heart.
Beautiful transition. Brilliant. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Would you still love me if I were a tree?
Without you here, I can't be strong. I knew I should have burned you down to the crumbs. I should have never stopped moving on. But then your branch silently covered my hand. And then your leaves silently absorbed my tears. As I shook, you held me in your warm embrace, and all my fears, they
Apparently the answer to the earlier question is yes.
Yet I feel that everything will be okay. Under sanguine skies, we watch the world distort and twist before our eyes. But I am glad that we can be together in the end. Mutations,
I love vibing with organic horrors beyond my comprehension.
for you were so pleased to have my life and live for another day.
It's so fun. It's so cute. Nothing ever happened. Nothing bad ever happened. Isn't this beautiful world so full of happiness and joy? No detuned child toys around. That was really good. I feel like it's cheating that I recognized Cassie Way's screen name immediately, and I was like, oh, yep. Because, like, if you're getting Cassie to write lyrics, you're gonna get nothing but the darkest possible timeline. It's just her thing, you know? So like I said, feels a little bit like cheating that I knew kind of what was gonna happen from the start, but that does not take away from the musical prowess that this song has, the composers have. This is a beautiful song. And it's definitely that type of beautiful where it's like the point is to pull you in a different direction, to misdirect you. That's the idea, the cutesiness, contrasting against the dark message. That's one of Cassie Way's favorite things to do with Millie and her songwriting, her lyricism. So I was like, okay, that's where I got that hint. But this song by these other people did an amazing job. They did an absolutely amazing job at nailing that exact same sort of aesthetic. I love the story of this one too. It's a very classic sort of tale of like being the only two left, or of a small group and whittling away until you are finally the last one through whatever unfortunate circumstance. This case turning into a tree. Kind of dark. Also did not actually expect the very end of it where like the girl was kind of still alive-ish and was like trying to feed off of the other character. That's really neat. I actually really like that story beat, but at the same time, I still want to talk about the music theory of this song and why this song ended up working well and how it did what it did. So at the start, we have the usual like happy chord progression here. We're in the key of A, I'm pretty sure A major, and there's not really much else to say with that. The chords will become very obvious as we go. It's just bringing you through all of those chords separately. But I think the chorus is really where the song really takes off. So let me show you what that is. So pretty much for this song, we have a D, an E, a C sharp minor, and then an F sharp minor. And that's kind of the core grouping of chords that we have for like basically everything in the beginning of the song. And that's just the standard progression that it kind of beats around with. And it does have evolutions of that. Like what happens next is basically an alternate version of that, just a slightly different pattern of the chords. And that's something that I love when composers do that, because it evolves the song naturally while still staying well within the bounds of what the song is already placed forward as the truth of this song, the rules that it's setting in the music theory. So that adds a lot to me, because when we continue, we go into like the D again, the C sharp minor again, the F sharp minor, the E, but then it goes to an F minor for just a split second. This is one of those things that's like a very slight adjustment before it settles back down. This F minor is probably our very first slight hint that something's going wrong in the song. It's a very subtle change, but it's something that's very present. It's just I would say a subconscious sort of feeling with how that one kind of hits. And it's again, just for like a really quick beat, and then it just immediately drops back down into the D. And when it drops back down into that D, we end up doing E again, the C sharp minor, the F sharp minor, the B minor, which is an interesting new one. I wouldn't say that this one is an evolution of that like weird feeling, because it's within the expectations of the key, and it does just build up from here to the D and the E, but like the natural progression of this is what gets me, because this song goes from that E to the F minor again, and now we have this secondary affirmation that this chord was the first whoopsie daisy of this song. It's now hit it twice. Now it's no longer an incidental, it's on purpose. It is totally purposeful, and I love that that is a still very subtle thing, but that's the sort of shit that you start picking up on when you're like, oh wait, that's a little bit different, that sounds different. And the fact that it gets in and gets out of there again and just starts with the loops, that's what makes it so subtle. It's quick, and you don't really realize it until it's far too late, until we get a little bit later on into the song, where we get our first actual one, where as it gets out of the chorus, we get a C sharp natural instead of the C sharp minor. So like that probably feels like a darker chord here, like this chord progression. It feels a little bit darker with that C sharp minor in there, but the second you start, now something has changed, you know, like that's an incidental change where it's like, oh, now there's an adjustment to the song. And it only does that at the end of phrases when things are about to get worse or the story is about to progress for the worse. And that's the reason that I really love this progression and what they're doing with the composition here, because it's these subtleties. You would feel that one the most compared to that whole like adjustment to the F minor that I played earlier. This adjustment going from every single chord being the C sharp minor up to this point, and then suddenly it's not, even though that is a lift and it is a minor difference, that is such a drastic change to the expectations that we've been listening to for about a minute and a half by this point. So it's just like, oh shit, now we have something more to do. And I'm pretty sure that doesn't happen again until we get to that like dark carnival sort of sound, and it's like, oh, that's different. That is the next time that we get this really big chord change, and it's only the one time, I'm pretty sure, where it switches to a G sharp for just one chord, and then the rest of it is surprisingly the same chords that we had already used. It's just all the detuning and all the other effects going on makes it feel darker and more sinister at that point. It's all sound designed at that point, and this is yet another feature of this song that I really enjoy. The fact that it stays consistent with the chords that are playing even when the entire song's tone has shifted, and they don't really use too many incidental chords in order to push that narrative like a lot of songs would do that. Sometimes people would add an entire key change in order to do that, but this song was like, no, we need it to be subtle, even though it's as obvious as possible by that point in the song, and the whole dark carnival aesthetic kind of takes over for the like psychological space that the main character is in. It's still the factor that the chords are the same. There's still that resonance of the happiness in there, and it's not changed, it's just moved around. And that's that point where we get a different like layout of the chords that are largely what we'd already heard before. It's just played in a different pattern, so we get stuff that's like falling apart. Instead of doing that, we get, you know, it's just different patterns of the same chords. This is the natural progression of music that I really enjoy, when you don't have to change everything in order to make it sound different. You can really abuse music theory by just taking the same thing you've always been playing and showing a different emotion by making things happen in a different way, changing the pattern, changing up the norm, especially when it's as rock solid as a simple progression as this is. When you have that and you change it suddenly, it's like, oh shit, something is way wrong. Again, the sound design design is definitely a helper there, but everything to do with the music theory and the composition of this has a huge hand in it as well. And I like that by the end of the song, things actually kind of go back to that like cuter, bubblier sound, because the character has kind of come to terms with who they are and what's going to be happening, you know, like what they've signed up for essentially. And that's a really nice factor of the storytelling. In addition to all this, it's like, not only do we watch the person's descent into madness, we also get to see kind of them crawling out of that hole psychologically, because they see happiness in that. And I just love that. Again, this is a lot of stuff to do with like how Cassie writes lyrically. This is a very straightforward song, so it's a very straightforward story. She does this a lot. She just tells stories outright. And it's really cool to see this done by a different group, like telling her story in a different facet. I'm not entirely positive, obviously, if this song was like conceptualized by the main producers of this track. I don't know if the lyrics were like written beforehand and they decided to make a song out of it. Whatever the case may be, I love this. This is a really cool variation of this sort of a tale. And the fact that the song is so well crafted to reflect that sort of progression, that psychological placement the whole way through, and things in the video as well, just kind of hinting at it, like the branches overgrowing at that one shot. It's like, ooh, you know, I love that shit. As somebody who was a semi-pro animator for quite a while, that is a really good natural way to show that progression visually. And again, subtly. It's not something that you would just pick up on. Like if you were to take a second to like look away and then look back at it, and then you'd be like, is something different here? It's kind of like playing observation duty. You'd be like, wait a minute. No, I swear there was a mug here. And it's just, you have to second guess yourself. And that's that sort of psychological mind game that I love that songs like this do and videos like this do. These animation projects are always great. Psychological animation is one of my favorite things, just because you can add such subtle details, even if it's like a slight shift in color. Obviously, you could really do that with any medium, but like the ability to granularly decide exactly what pixel you want to move is something that I think a lot of people just forget about with animation. You can get really subtle with it. You could change the subtleties of a face just a little bit, you know, kind of getting other mothery and Coraline, just stuff like that, where it's like, that's different. I don't like that. And this whole song, this whole project is just a fucking, frankly, I don't think this has enough views. The fact that this is from 2023 and only has like 83,000 views, and I hadn't seen it yet, especially given how much I get around the animation side of things in general, is kind of insane. The fact that like this exists and not enough people have seen it. This is a beautiful work in general, like the visual style, the musical style, everything about it is basically perfect. And it's kind of a bummer that this should be a cardinal sin. This should be like a federal offense. We should lock up anybody who hasn't seen these yet. And now I can say that in confidence because I have seen that, so I won't be in trouble. But I think I'm starting to really ramble here. So thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want me to get to anything else, by all means, drop it in the comments below and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if you want to guarantee something, much like Lucha did for this one, you can always go to my Patreon, and if that tier is open, you can guarantee something out of me. It doesn't matter what it's from, who it's by, if it's good or bad, none of that matters. That's why it's a guarantee. But if you don't want to do any of that, maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!